Howdy folks, and welcome back to World of Warships with a mighty Jingles, which is an interesting choice for a video today because today I'm going down to the Tank Museum to film the preparations for Tiger Day. I'm heading down to the workshops and watching as they move Tiger 131 from the workshops back into the display hall. So naturally, that means today's a World of Warships video. Because reasons. Anyway, this is Bratton in the Tirpitz, and he's here on the trap map, and I consistently see people in battleships, particularly battleships armed with torpedoes, or even cruisers armed with torpedoes, doing very, very well on this corner of the map. And Bratton here in the Tirpitz is no exception whatsoever. The reason people can do quite well up here is because, well, enemy battleships like to hug the corner of those islands up ahead of Bratton's ship. You see them kind of trying to side-scrape the corner like a heavy tank in World of Tanks, and it can be quite effective unless the first thing that you see coming around the corner at point-blank range is an enemy Tirpitz, and you can say hello to his little torpedo friends. I did actually feature a replay, or a clip from a replay a while back, of somebody doing pretty much exactly that in the Japanese Tier 10 cruiser, the Zao. Steamed around the corner, torpedoes off to one side, torpedoes off to the other side, took out 2 enemy Tier 10s. In the space of seconds, and then finished off a third with his guns. Well, that's not exactly what's going to happen here. Not exactly. Bratton's been spotted long ago by the enemy Mayhem class destroyer, so they all know he's coming. He lines up his torpedoes on the Attico just as his guns score a couple of citadels. He figures, well, I'll save the torpedoes, and we'll finish the Attico off with the guns. Dodges the torpedoes fired by the Mayhem in the smokescreen, takes out the Attico. Lines up his guns on a full health New Orleans, thinks about the torpedoes, and once again, multiple Citadel hits means he doesn't have to use the torpedoes on the New Orleans. He spots the Fuso, fires the torpedoes at him. Remember, the Mayhem is still in that smokescreen up ahead. Here come his torpedoes. Mayhem spotted. Avoids the Mayhem's torpedoes again. Multiple torpedo hits on the Fuso, finishes him off with his guns. 3 kills. Suddenly, the Mayhem's completely run out of friends, his smokescreen's just died, he's being engaged by Bratton's secondaries and a bunch of cruisers behind him. And that was very nearly Bratton's 4th kill in as many minutes. So, good start. But wargaming giveth, and wargaming taketh away. Shortly afterwards, the friendly Admiral Hipper was taking a bit of a battering from those Tirpitzers up ahead, so he peeled off and ducked into cover, which leaves Bratton in the Tirpitz and Com Blackburn up ahead in the Attico, just crossing Bratton's ship's head, both engaging that Tirpitz up ahead and on the left of the 2 that you can see. There is, however, a 3rd enemy battleship in the immediate vicinity. It's in New Mexico. We're going to see him in a moment, and Com Blackburn up ahead there in the Attico is crossing in order to engage him with his torpedoes. Bratton here in the Tirpitz is still firmly focused on that enemy Tirpitz over there, and I've actually taken charge of the camera and shifted it around so you can see what happens as Bratton's Tirpitz sails within secondary gun battery range right there of the enemy New Mexico. Bratton's AI gunners open up on the New Mexico, the Attico crosses in front, and bang, there, do you see that? That is exactly one secondary battery high explosive hit on the Attico. It probably did 150 damage, but it set him on fire. The Attico straightens out to get his torpedoes into the New Mexico. Bratton slows down to let the Attico get clear so he can safely launch his torpedoes to the stern of the Attico. He's doing everything he possibly can to avoid doing any friendly fire damage here, but the Attico was closer, and there, he's going to get the torpedo kill, and there it is, the Fuso's down. But the Attico continues to burn, and it's Bratton who set him on fire.
We've sunk an allied cruiser.
And that just cost him 80,000 credits. He actually had to go back and watch this replay after the battle to figure out how it was he'd managed to sink an allied cruiser, because, well, he wasn't even watching the New Mexico when his secondary batteries hit the Attico. He was focusing on the Tirpitz. And if you go back and watch it again, it's exactly just one single secondary battery hit that got the kill on the Attico. Which just goes to prove once again, as if further proof were needed, that it doesn't matter how well you're doing in a game of World of Tanks or World of Warships, RNG will always find a way to make you look like an idiot. Well, at least he didn't turn pink and get flagged as a team killer. But it did cost him 80,000 credits.
We've sunk an Allied cruiser.
And now for today's main event, and it's another Minekaze replay. Why another Minekaze replay, Jingles? Because the Minekaze is fantastic. This is, not entirely sure how you'd pronounce that name, Stevoti? I'm just going to call him Steve, because, you know, it's what I do. His team start off this match with a definite destroyer advantage over the enemy team. They've got 3 destroyers, the enemy team only has 1. Which means the battleships on the enemy team are going to be feeling very, very nervous indeed, but his team does its level best to throw this advantage away as quickly as humanly possible. Steve's actually a bit of a ninja. I actually thought that he didn't have situational awareness on this destroyer, which seems a bit silly, but he does. It just... Well, the match is nearly over before he finally gets spotted and his situational awareness perk goes off, alerting him to the fact that somebody can actually see him for the first time in the match. He's just that good at remaining undetected until he absolutely definitely doesn't have any other choice. Now, there are 3 capture points on this map. His team has 3 destroyers. Now, that suggests to me that the team can have a fantastic chance of getting early caps and establishing a points lead over the enemy team right at the start if they use their destroyers wisely. And to be completely fair, Steve's steaming towards the A point. The other 2 destroyers in his team are both making a beeline for B, and they're going to cap it very, very early. Well, who's going for C? If all of the destroyers are going for A and B, well, the entire rest of the team are heading for C, with the exception of 1 cruiser who's heading for A with Steve. And sure enough, with 2 friendly destroyers contesting B, that falls into friendly hands very, very quickly. And just as quickly, the enemy team sink those 2 destroyers and take it right back off them. And we're about to see it all unfold. Now, Steve is capping A, and he's deployed his smoke screen because that Omaha's getting uncomfortably close. That Omaha, however, is nobody's fool. He's seen the smoke screen, he's seen A's being capped, he knows that there's a destroyer over here. At the moment, all he can actually see to shoot at is the cruiser that's accompanying Steve. Steve waits for him to finish manoeuvring, and just as he steadies on a course and speed and Steve fires his torpedoes away, that's when the friendly Itziaslav pops up in B. The Omaha spots him and starts turning to put some shots in at the Itziaslav. Steve spots the Wyoming coming around the side of the island. Has not yet been detected, pops a couple of fish in the water at the Wyoming just in case. That rapid course change from the Omaha means that all of these torpedoes are going to miss the Omaha, but one of them does hit the Wyoming. Any second now. And there we go. So, not a complete waste of 6 torpedoes. Could have been better, however. Unfortunately, they've just lost one of the destroyers who was capping B, and now they've lost both of the destroyers who were capping B, and the enemy team are taking it back from them. And the other 7 cruisers and battleships on the team haven't managed to cap C between them.
Torpedoes, dead ahead.
Steve fires 4 more torpedoes at the Wyoming. He seems like an easier target. Saves 2 for the Omaha. The Omaha's engaged in a fight with that friendly cruiser over there. And my apologies, Steve did actually get detected there. This is why he's popped a smoke screen. Oh well, it wouldn't be a Jingles video if I didn't get something wrong. 1 torpedo tube in reserve. He's waiting, once again, waiting for the Omaha to settle on a course and speed as 2 torpedoes of the 45 strike home into the Wyoming and cause a flood. Torpedoes away at the Omaha, but the Omaha is manoeuvring. Once again, he's nobody's fool. He sees a smoke screen, he knows there's a destroyer in it, he's expecting the torpedoes, and he's turning and manoeuvring to take the friendly cruiser under fire and avoid his torpedoes. Need to give a shout out at this point to the friendly cruiser who's shooting up that Omaha. He's just been sunk by the Omaha, but his name is Licking Turds. There he is. He's dead. But he's got the Omaha. He'd set him on fire, he'd hit him with the torpedo, he was burning, he was flooding. The Omaha, played by Jimmy Red, has just gone down. Took Steve by surprise as he popped up out of the smoke screen there at the last second, thinking, oh my god, there's an Omaha, broadside onto me, quick, oh, he's dead. Alright, never mind. So, thanks to Steve and Licking Turds, I love that name, thanks to their valiant defence, they still control A. The enemy team have taken B, And it looks like they've managed to lose 3 ships not capturing C, so I'm not quite sure what the rest of the team are doing all the way over on the other side of the map, but they are all over on the other side of the map, which means Steve has got this Wyoming to play with all by himself, and he has to kill him. Well, for a couple of reasons. If he doesn't kill him, he's going to capture A, and Steve's fought long and hard, as has Lick and Turds, in order to capture A. And secondly, I mean, it's a low-health battleship, and you're in a Minekaze. Why wouldn't you go after the kill? And while it's easy to point and laugh and make fun of idiots in battleships who are completely oblivious to enemy destroyers, this guy's now taken 3 torpedoes, so you have to give him the benefit of the doubt and assume that he's going to be very, very cautious about making an approach on the capture point up here. So Steve goes all American destroyer on him and lies in ambush around the side of the island. But this battleship, he's like, oh no, I know there's a destroyer there, I ain't going anywhere near it. And he's just sort of cruising around backwards and forwards around the outside of the cap circle, trying to spot a Minekaze. To be fair, he doesn't really have an awful lot of options. His friendly cruiser escort is gone to the bottom, and there are more torpedoes on the way. Steve appears to be very confident that he's going to get that Wyoming with these torpedoes. He's making a beeline straight towards B. Oh well, yeah. Fair enough. Okay, so they're outnumbered like 2 to 1. They still haven't managed to capture C. The enemy still control B. Look at the difference in scores. And this is purely down to the tonnage of ships that have been sunk by the enemy team. So what's a destroyer going to do in this kind of situation? Well, A is secure. Let's capture B. Unfortunately, that enemy St. Louis appears to have other ideas. I'm reasonably sure this guy, he's looking for Steve. He knows that there's an enemy destroyer up here and he wants to kill him and take A. So while Steve desperately wants to get over there, capture B and then steam right up the backside for a spot of surprise butt sex on all those enemy ships, he's got to sink this St. Louis first. He can't just leave this guy to go and take A off him. And he can't take B. Well, he could, but he's going to have to go the long way around. The St. Louis is in a really, really awkward position. So how much attention is this St. Louis paying? He obviously knows there's a destroyer up here. He's sailing up here with the intention of sinking Steve. And, well, if he didn't know he was here before, he definitely knows he's here now. He's managed to avoid all of the torpedoes. Bugger. Steve can't really afford to hang around, then losing ships at a phenomenal rate. There's only 3 of them left. So, he waits for the torpedoes to reload and he makes a second attack run on the St. Louis. Well, he's in no danger of being spotted. So let's see. The St. Louis has to have seen those torpedoes. I don't know if they were badly aimed or the St. Louis actually adjusted his course and speed, but they passed so close to him he would have had the torpedo warning alarm. Well, no, I have to, they do look pretty good. Oh, they look very good. You know, you've got to wonder. I've got nothing. I can't explain that one. That just... Perhaps he had to go and answer the door or something. Maybe he was momentarily AFK. I don't know. You come up with a better explanation. Anyway, St. Louis down. A is now secure, and the door is wide open for B. So Steve applies full power to the engine and uses his engine boost consumable for only the 2nd time in this game. Now, the thing about the engine boost consumable is that while it does make your ship go a lot faster, it also causes your engines to generate a lot more smoke, and it actually makes you more visible. Often, you'll see destroyer captains get spotted, burn their engine boost consumable in an attempt to get out of harm's way as quickly as possible, which is a natural response, but it actually it works against you because, yes, your ship moves a bit faster, but you're never going to move faster than a main battery gun from a destroyer, cruiser, or battleship. And you actually stay detected longer, and therefore you're getting shot at longer. Steve initially used the engine boost in order to cross the map and get to A for a sneaky flag capture at the beginning of the match, and he's only using it again when there is no danger he's going to be spotted by any enemy ships. And he needs to cross a lot of distance as quickly as possible, not just to capture B, but also to get within shooting range of all of those enemy ships and help his two teammates out. Unfortunately for Steve, capping B and coming to the assistance of his two surviving teammates proved to be mutually exclusive options, and now he's the last one left on his team. However, friendly St. Louis did at least manage to take one of those enemy cruisers down with him, so it's only 4 against 1, not 5 against 1. Now, who's he going to go for? It has to be the New York class battleship, and it has to be the New York for 3 reasons. First, battleships are easier targets to hit with torpedoes than cruisers. Also, he's broadside on, so even easier to hit. Secondly, he's heading for B. The guy's trying to cap B, and Steve just spent a lot of time taking it off the enemy team, and it would be very, very rude to allow them to take it back without a fight. Thirdly, and finally, the New York doesn't have any immediate support from the rest of his team. He's managed to separate himself from the other 2 cruisers and the other battleship, so Steve puts all of his torpedoes in the water against the New York. And now watch. Look at this. This cheeky bugger is actually trying to take C off the enemy team as well. And he's having to walk a real tightrope here. I mean, I don't think he seriously thought he was going to take C off them. But he's contesting it. And while he was in the capture point there, they weren't gaining points from it. And oh look! He's hit the New York. Well, that was entirely unpredictable, wasn't it? He hasn't sunk him, though. He did cause some flooding. But, well, the New York's had a lot of nothing happening. So you can guarantee that his damage control consumable will be off cooldown. So, and he's still heading for B. This is why you chose the New York first. If at first you don't succeed, he's miles away from the rest of the team. And they're all struggling to catch up. He's got the time to get in there, finish the New York, and he can even use that island as concealment. It doesn't matter if the New York spots him at this point, and, well, he's had to burn his engine consumable. The New York is going to spot him. But if he can get around that island fast enough, he can take him down with point-blank range torpedoes, and the other 3 ships on the enemy team won't be able to do a thing about it. That, at least, is the plan. There we go. He's been detected. And here come the New York secondaries. Start scoring some hits. I'm not seeing anything from his primaries. Why are his primaries not pointing in this direction? He just got hit from torpedoes over here. Why are his guns not pointing this way? It's all the secondary battery fire. Oh, you... Look at this. That sound you can hear. It does sound a lot like a bunch of torpedoes slamming into the hull of a New York-class battleship, but it only sounds like a bunch of torpedoes slamming into the hull of a New York-class battleship. It's actually thousands upon thousands of battleship players watching this video and smashing their foreheads off their desk in sheer exasperation as yet another oblivious battleship player on YouTube makes them all look like a bunch of complete idiots. Steve's not complaining, of course. The battleship's teammates attempted to take some shots at him at long range in the brief few seconds that he was detected. When he came around the corner of the island, steaming along at full speed, and fired his torpedoes off. But the second the New York went to the bottom, he's no longer detected. They're all steaming vainly in this direction, trying to find and catch Steve. Oh, he's been spotted again. Steve, get the hell out of there. Steve? Oh wow, he's been spotted 3 times in this game. Pops his smoke. Get the hell out of there, Steve. If you die, you've lost. You're the last ship left alive on your team. They hold C, you hold B, you hold A. Oh, and he's hit another one. There's the high caliber award into the bargain. Oh, you've got to be kidding. Yeah, Steve, let's not take any chances. Just get out of there, right? Just run and hide. The points advantage you've managed to claw back from the enemy team. And look at the amount of time that's left. There is the only way the enemy team can win. I mean, they're starting to cap B, but there just isn't enough time left for them to capture B and accumulate enough points to win. The only way they can win is by finding and killing Steve. And he's in the Minekaze. Steve would have to do something monumentally stupid in order to lose this match at this point. And I think he's demonstrated that he's definitely not stupid. So, yeah, he's just going to run the clock out, lead them a merry chase across the map, using the islands as cover, taking no chances, popping torpedoes back the way he came. You never know, he might score another hit. They've captured B. Any second now, there it goes, but too little, too late. Steve's got too many points, and there isn't enough time left. He's done it. Unfortunately, he didn't send me the battle results screen, so I can't show you the exact results of this match, but he did in fact accumulate 1,000 points before the enemy team could find and kill him. I can, however, show you the battle results screen of Bratton's match in the Tirpitz that we saw at the beginning of today's video. You ready for a heartbreak? Watch this. He did over 150,000 damage, sank 3 ships. Well, technically he sank 4 ships, although it's only technically because there's no way he deserved to be blamed for the sinking of that Attigo. That Attigo, ironically enough, second on experience earned. Although Bratton still managed to get roughly double, roughly double the experience of the next best player on his team, who was the Attigo that the game insists he sank. That was, of course, a defeat, and he earned over 715,000, nearly 750,000 credits on that match. In fact, he did get more than 750,000 credits on that match, but because the game insists he sank the Attigo, it fined him 80,000 credits. Talk about kicking a man when he's down. Anyway, that's it for today. I'm off to the Bovington Tank Museum today to have a look at Tiger 131 as the engineers finish doing the maintenance and getting her in a tip-top working and running condition for Tiger Day coming up this weekend. I will, of course, be at Tiger Day, as will Rita Gamer, and if you're in the neck of the woods of the Bovington Tank Museum, why not pop down at Tiger Day, and if you see me, by all means, stop and say hello. That's it for today, folks. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.